Yes, please.
Okay, the time is now 9:06 a.m. and we're on the record.
Thank you. Good morning. This is the May 16th, 2024 meeting of the Southern Region Board of Review. This hearing is being held via WebEx video conference at the Perry B. Duryea Jr. State Office Building, 250 Veterans Memorial Highway, Conference Room 4A9A, Hauppauge, New York, 11788. The time is now 9:07 and this hearing is officially open. Members of the board are Andrew Hames, Erica Schaub, Richard Pavone, myself, Robert Peterson, Chairman, and the newest member of the board, Laura Bruce Lehman. From the Department of State is Mr. Courtney Nation and Mr. CJ Ajoku. We will now hear the scheduled petitions. When you speak, please address the board and give your name, title, and legal address so that our court reporter can have all the information requested. We may have to stop from time to time to consult with our technical staff. In making comments to the board, please provide a descriptive narrative on matters referring to your exhibits to enable the court reporter to enter these into the record. The first hearing is in the matter of petition number 2023-0435. The petitioner is Ernest Martinez.
Just a matter of correction, CJ is not here today.
Yeah, I just wanted to put that in the record. Thank you for that. This petition pertains to a detached one-family dwelling. The dwelling is 2 stories of wood frame type 5B construction, approximately 1,650 square feet in total gross floor area. The dwelling located at 803 South 7th Street, Incorporated Village of Lindenhurst, County of Suffolk, New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.4, titled Nonconformities, which requires that the work performed shall not increase the extent of noncompliance with the requirements of this code or create nonconformity with those requirements which did not previously exist. And 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R322.2.1, titled Elevation Requirements, which for flood hazard areas are not subject to high velocity wave action, requires that 1, buildings and structures in flood hazard areas, including flood hazard areas designated as coastal A zones, shall have the lowest floors elevated to or above the base flood elevation plus 2 feet, or the design flood elevation determined in accordance with sections R322.1.4 through R322.1.4.1, whichever is higher. Number 2, in areas of shallow flooding, AO zones, buildings and structures shall have the lowest floor, including basement, elevated to a height above the highest adjacent grade of not less than the depth number specified in feet on the firm plus 1 foot, or not less than 3 feet if a depth number is not specified. Number 3, basement floors that are below grade on all sides shall be elevated to or above base flood elevation plus 2 feet, or the design flood elevation determined in accordance with sections R322.1.4 through R322.1.4.1, whichever is higher. The petitioner wishes to maintain a lowest floor that is below the requisite design flood elevation. Okay, Mr. Martinez, you have the floor.
Well, yes, sir. That house is been in existence since 1940, I think, and every house on that street is on the same elevation. So I assumed it would be grandfathered in to be the same. None of the other houses were raised. There's like 2 or 3 houses on that street that were raised after Sandy, but all the other houses are on the same elevation as mine.
I think the thing, nobody is asking and there's no requirement that the house be raised because it is grandfathered. It's where you take a portion of the house or add an addition or a change of use that now it becomes a requirement that it be applicable, compliant with the current code.
But there was no change.
That's where the problem.
Well,
So the only requirement is that the conversion of a garage to habitable space, now that garage needs to be by code above the flood elevation,
well, sir, that
not the
garage
rest of the house.
That house is above flood elevation, but it was when I bought it, it was converted to a livable space, but I took the bathroom, I did everything the village asked me to do to turn it back into a garage. So it's not a livable space anymore.
Well, you're here before us today
Right.
because you're maintaining a garage conversion to a dining room,
No,
which is at 4,
no,
excuse me?
Hang on, let me just think a second. So in the main part
And
of
that's at elevation, excuse me, that's at elevation 4.4. And the base flood elevation is required to be at 5, which is slightly higher, and the design flood elevation is at 7. So you're here before us today seeking relief for that discrepancy.
That's correct. And now that was like that when I bought the house, and it was at the same elevation as all the other houses. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I think that's clear with your application. It says here you purchased it in 2018. And then I think there was a attempt to sell the house and the village picked up the fact that there was an application at one time to maintain that. Is that correct? In 2005?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess they want you to complete that maintaining of the conversion.
But I did, so I went to the village and I did everything they asked me to do. And I'm good with the village. It's just, they said I had to go through New York State to confirm, to get your approval and the variance.
Yeah. Yes.
Because
what-
the
what-
village can't approve, the village cannot approve an exception
Code, yeah.
to the state code.
Yeah.
Only we can.
Did the village issue you a variance yet?
Yes, well, yes, they said I'm good with everything. They're just waiting for the New York State.
Okay, just bear with me for 1 second. Did they issue a formal letter of determination saying you were approved
I, be-
from local public hearing?
I believe so. It's really, yes, the answer is yes. I just got a yes, sorry.
Okay. So you bought it in 2018. Did the village have anything on record that said how much damage was sustained during Sandy?
No,
Did they ask you any questions about any monies prior to that were potentially issued by FEMA or other insurances?
no, not that I remember.
Sandy?
They did not
Like,
ask.
are you aware of what damage was there? Was there damage and what work was done after Sandy?
No damage there was no damage visible when I got there. Everything was already painted, and so I have no idea what was done. I know that it was in perfect condition when I bought it.
You had mentioned before that you had, what's the status of the dining room now? Is it a legitimate dining room or did you convert
Yes.
it back to a garage?
No, it's
Okay.
converted. No, it's a
I-
complete dining room with hardwood floors, painted, molding,
Okay,
brown molding, the whole 9 yards. It's
okay. Maybe I misunderstood what you said before. Is your architect or your designer or anybody else on the call here today?
I don't know. I don't see them.
Okay, would you
Again,
be able to answer some technical questions?
I will give it a try. I was in construction.
Okay. Okay, I think there was on the drawing, some flood vents that were shown on the elevations.
Yeah.
Do you know if there are flood vents underneath the dining room in the foundation? There
Yeah.
is?
Yes, sir.
How many?
There are 2 that I'm
Okay.
aware of. Yeah.
Is there access to that crawl space underneath the dining room?
Yes,
There's
there,
no foundation?
Yep.
Sorry, go ahead.
yes, there is, sir.
And that's from what, the basement?
There is one from
Or is there
inside,
another crawl?
from inside the house. There's a trap door inside underneath the stair.
So that floor is insulated and it's just wood frame construction?
Correct, sir.
Okay. Do you know how deep the crawl space is? Like how high it is?
I believe
2
it's
feet?
about 30 inches, 36, somewhere about between 30 and 36 inches. I don't remember exactly.
Okay. And
How is that floor insulated? Do you
It,
know?
I'm sorry. It has the regular insulation. I forget what you call it. And
Fiberglass bath?
yes,
Yeah, the problem with that stuff in a flood area is that when it gets wet, it destroys it.
it was okay when every time I looked at it. So
We haven't had another Sandy yet.
thank
so
God.
typically, Mr. Martinez, when, and I can't speak for the other board members, but typically when we grant something below the floodplain, we look for water resistive construction or waterproof construction. I think that's why this line of questioning is being asked, because we're trying to ascertain what the assemblies are, what the construction materials are below the floodplain.
I understand,
So the drawings say existing floor joists, I assume they're wood.
correct?
We have bat insulation. It looks like the slab in the crawl space is level to the grade outside.
Yes,
So the flood vents, if there is a flood, flood waters would come in and they would recede out at the crawl space.
Yes.
Two of them are good. I don't know if there's any other questions. Any of the board members have any questions?
The electrical?
What the, is it, other than, I assume there are receptacles around the walls on the dining room?
that's,
Uh,
but
how
none of that,
high?
none of that is in the basement, in the crawl space. That's all done through the walls. I did find that out.
One is in the crawl space?
No, he's saying they're not.
Oh, they're,
So it's a 4.4 elevation. Usually they're 18 inches above the floor. So we're probably still below.
it's 6, yeah, it was. Do you know how high above the floor the receptacles are?
Yes, they're not 18 inches. They're higher. I'm not sure what.
They are.
There
Yeah,
was
they
a
are.
photo.
They did that. They made them higher than the 18 inches.
Okay. Photo doesn't show any, it's,
Yeah, I didn't see anything in the photo.
There's a little outlet to the right of the window in the front. The window apron, is that
I can't see it on this, but,
oh, it's painted well. It's right here.
oh, oh, that's
Yeah.
way up.
Yeah, it's way up
And
there.
I-
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay. That's a good thing.
anybody else have any other questions?
No,
I have the flood vents, waterproof crawl space. Did the code official weigh in on this? Is he in favor of granting a variance or? I didn't see.
Put no, I mean, it's a routine.
The board did approve the variance at the village.
No, the code official did say he was in favor of it.
Okay, yeah. Do you support the petitioner's request for a
Board was
variance?
a zoning board, not a code, had no code relevance.
Oh, yeah, Tom Mayer was in favor of it.
Yeah, yes.
do you support processing this request of routine variance? No. No, please
Okay.
explain, it doesn't say why.
But item number 10,
You support the petitioner's request for variance?
yes.
Yes.
Is there anybody else here that wants to speak on this matter? If not, we're gonna go talk this out. We'll be back with a decision. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Should I call us off the record?
I think we're ready to go back on the record.
Okay, we are on the record.
Thank you. Yes or no? We're fine? Okay, I'm easily distracted. Okay, with respect to petition number 2023-0435, Mr. Ernest Martinez, the petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State. I didn't say the sections. Section AJ 601.4 and R 322.2.1. The board makes the following findings. Number one, the subject dwelling is 2 stories in height of wood frame construction and is located in an AE5 flood hazard zone. Number two, the dwelling was built prior to 1932 and was sold to the current owner in 2018. The current owner is trying to legalize an originally attached garage space that was altered for use as a dining room by the previous owner. Number three, the alteration involved installing a new floor system above the original garage slab and elevating the new floor approximately 6 inches above the elevation of the rest of the main floor. Number four, the new floor system in the dining room is 4.4 feet above NAVD 88 datum, but does not conform to section R 322.2.1 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State because the top of floor is below the state's design flood elevation of 7 feet NAVD 88. Number five, the floor is within 0.6 feet of the base flood elevation of 5 feet. Number 6, the petitioner finds it impractical to further raise the dining room floor. And number 7, the petitioner has stated that 2 flood vents were installed in the crawl space below the said dining room, and that the electrical receptacles were placed above the base flood elevation in the interior of the dining room space. However, the crawl space insulation is fiberglass bat, which is highly susceptible to water damage. So with respect to 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.4, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R 322.2.1, the board finds strict compliance with the provisions to the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship and would be physically or legally impractical. And the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect the Uniform Code's provisions for health, safety, and security. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for a variance from the provisions of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section AJ 601.4, and 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R 322.2.1, be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. We have one condition. Condition
Yes.
number 1, that the dining room branch circuit shall be GFCI protected. I need a motion to approve with this condition.
Andy, so moved.
May I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, great. Motion is approved. Furthermore, it should be noted that the decision of this board is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. Okay, Mr. Martinez. we
Yes,
had
sir.
One condition.
Yep.
Hopefully that's not a heavy lift for you.
No, not at all. I might even already be done. I will check.
Okay, wonderful. Good luck with everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. And ladies. Okay, we have next in the queue is 0091. Michelle Perricone, or Perricone.
Hi, here.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. I assume we're still on the record?
Yes.
Yes, we are still on the record.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to read this into the record and then I'll give you the mic, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, the second hearing is in the matter of petition number 2024-0091. The petitioner is Michelle Perricone. This petition pertains to an existing detached one-story, one-family dwelling of wood frame construction. The dwelling is approximately 960 square feet in gross floor area and is located at 140 Huguenot Drive. I believe that's Mastic Beach, town of
Yes.
Brookhaven, County of Suffolk, State of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R 304.2, titled Minimum Dimensions, which requires that habitable rooms shall be not less than 7 feet in any horizontal dimension, and 19 NYCRR Part 1226, the 2020 Property Maintenance Code of New York State, Section 404.2, titled Minimum Dimensions. A habitable room other than the kitchen shall be not less than 7 feet in any planned dimension. Kitchen shall have a minimum clear passageway of 3 feet between counterfronts and appliances or counterfronts and walls. The petitioner wishes to have an existing room with a minimum width of less than 7 feet to be used as a bedroom. Okay, Ms. Perricone, you have the floor.
Yes, so basically I'm shy. I believe it's 6 inches of that room to be considered a legal 3rd bedroom, and I'm granting for the board to give me that grant so I could consider the home a 3-bedroom versus a 2-bedroom.
Okay, that was fairly succinct. Do you know what the ceiling height is in that room?
It's the same as the rest of the house. It's 8 feet.
Okay, thank you for that. I didn't load up my drawings. Do we have a code compliant egress window in that bedroom?
There's a window.
Yeah, there's 2 windows, there's closets. Everything is up to code, except for the fact that I'm shy of the 6 inches.
When did you purchase this? House?
Just a couple of months ago, December, I believe I did.
And this is your house to live in?
It's going to be a secondary home,
Rental?
possibly. Not sure yet. I went to the town because if I do want to rent it out, I want to do everything the right way. And that's when I found out that I was shy of 6 inches.
All right,
When
so we
I
have.
when I bought the home, it was presented to me, and it is on paper a 3-bedroom home. The only problem is if I do go for a rental permit that I wanted to go for, because I still haven't made my decision whether I'm using it as a secondary house or I'm going to be renting it. That's when I found out by the town of Brookhaven code that I was shy of 6 inches.
Actually by the state code too.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's why I need your approval.
Yeah, so there's minimum living standards for a sleeping space and you're pretty close to that. I think we have, what is the code today, Courtney? Is it 70 square feet or 80 square feet?
It's 70.
Excuse me?
70.
70. Yeah, I was asking Mr. Courtney Nation here. So you're about 10 square feet over that requirement for a minimum, and you're just 6 inches shy on the width. It looks like you have adequate light in there. You have 2 double hung windows. The sleeping areas require natural light and ventilation, so I assume those windows are operable.
Mm-hmm.
You can open them up and ventilate the space. 8 foot needs code. It looks like you have a smoke detector in the room. It's conditioned. You have heating in there.
I have 2
don't know-
closets also in there.
I see that, yes, on the plan. Just don't know how large that opening is on the window, but since it's old, would it need to meet the 5.7 square feet?
No, it's on the first floor.
5.7 square feet
Oh.
for egress?
No, I don't.
5 feet of the grade, I believe, is gonna be 5.
Oh, so 5 feet if it's close to the grade, okay. So,
You could always make that extension.
yeah, that's a good point. Any of the board members have any other questions?
Nope.
No.
No? Okay. Anybody else want to speak on this matter? Okay, we're gonna deliberate. We'll be back with a decision.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Go back on the record.
Okay, the time is 10:20 a.m. and we are back on the record.
Thank you very much. Okay, with respect to petition number 2024-0091, Cheryl Perricone, the petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R304.2, and 19 NYCRR Part 1226, the 2020 Property Maintenance Code of New York State, Section 404.2. The board makes the following findings. Number 1, the dwelling that is subject of this determination has existed since at least 1932 per a survey of the premises on file at the Town of Brookhaven's Building Department. Number 2, a room that is approximately 6.5 feet by 12.3 feet is located on the north side of the dwelling. This room was previously a porch that was enclosed on or about 1959. Number 3, the use of the room could not be substantiated in the town's records. The town has denied the applicant's use of the room as a bedroom because it does not conform to the code's current minimum width provisions as per section R304.2 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State. Number 4, the petitioner has stated she bought the dwelling as a 3-bedroom home and wishes to continue using it as such. Number 5, in 1959, the Legacy Code of New York State that predated today's Uniform Code was known as the State Building Construction Code and contained provisions for habitable space at section A202-4. These provisions did not stipulate a minimum dimension for bedrooms or other habitable rooms. Number 6, a minimum dimension for sleeping rooms and other habitable rooms was introduced in the 1964 edition of the State Building Construction Code. Number 7, the enclosed room that is subject to this application could very well have been a bedroom when it received approvals from the town in 1954. And number 8, the as-built width of 6.5 feet is only 0.5 feet less than that required in the current code's minimum provisions for a bedroom. However, the room exceeds the current code's minimum area requirements by approximately 10 square feet. Excuse me. So with respect to 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R304.2, and 19 NYCRR Part 1226, the 2020 Property Maintenance Code of New York State, Section 404.2. Excuse me, the board finds strict compliance with the provisions of the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship, and I didn't put the hardship in here. What did we have in our notes?
In the notes.
I think we had,
Practical.
Physically impracticable.
would be physically or legally impractical. And the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect the Uniform Code's provisions for health, safety, and security. Wherefore, it is determined that the application for a variance from the provisions of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R304.2, and 19 NYCRR Part 1226, the 2020 Property Maintenance Code of New York State, Section 404.2, be and is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. Condition number 1, that the room shall have an emergency escape and rescue opening that conforms to R310.1 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State. Number 2, that the dwelling shall conform to the maximum overcrowding requirements of Section 404.5 of the 2020 Property Maintenance Code, and the subject space cannot exceed 1 occupant. Excuse me for a moment. Number 3,
Could you put the subject bedroom space? Just to be clear.
excuse me?
Could you insert bedroom, subject bedroom space so that there's no confusion?
That's a good point. I'm going to read the whole thing again. Number 2, that the dwelling shall conform to the maximum overcrowding requirements of Section 404.5 of the 2020 Property Maintenance Code, and the subject bedroom space cannot exceed 1 occupant. Number 3, that in all other respects, the applicable provisions of the current Uniform Code shall be complied with, including but not limited to the code's retroactive requirements for smoke and CO detectors. I need a motion to approve with these conditions.
Andy, so moved.
May I get a second? Laura, second?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Furthermore, it should be noted that the decision of this board is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. Okay, Ms. Perricone, we had those 3 conditions. Do you have any questions?
No, I'd just like to ask you one question. When you say
Sure.
emergency escape, what do you specify from that?
The code has minimum area dimensions for a clear opening for egress, for someone to get out in the case of a fire, and also for emergency personnel to get into the space.
So you're talking about if the window is an egress window?
Yes.
Yes, you're mandated to have one. So you'll work that out with the town.
Is it 1 or 2 egress windows?
Just
One.
one.
Okay, so I'm just writing this down. So what was the conditions again? One was emergency escape, which considers an egress window. What was the second one?
You have to comply to the code, the property maintenance code for overcrowding for the whole dwelling.
So
So
just,
that's a tool for the building department to make sure you're not overcrowding the dwelling and the
Okay.
bedroom space.
right, so they'll determine how many people are allowed in the unit.
And also the bedroom, you're limited to 1 occupant, so you can't put a bunk bed in there or 2 twin beds or anything like that. It's a 1 occupant bedroom.
Okay, 1 person bedroom. And what was the third?
You meet the code for smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, life safety.
Which I already have in the room.
Yeah, it's a condition of approval.
Yes, no, I understand. Okay, so now with all this, what do? I get notification in the mail, and with this decision, I bring it down to the town?
What are we running about? A month and a half now?
Month and a half.
Yeah, you'll get something formally in writing from Albany and it'll be signed by the board, or myself, actually. And that'll be sent to the town and you as the petitioner.
So the town will receive it and I will also receive it.
You can contact the regional office for any questions you have.
Do you have the telephone number?
Shoot it out, Mr. Courtney.
It's 631
Uh-huh,
952
952.
4909.
Is that where Mrs. Lola Bonilla is located?
That's her.
Oh, okay, all right, so I'll just be in contact with her. All right, perfect, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a good.
Hearing is closed. We'll go on to the third and final. I think the applicant is here, not on the WebEx, right?
Yeah, I could get off the meeting now, correct?
Yes. Have a nice day. Thank you.
All right, thank you, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Just grab a seat. Get this over. You could close it so it's no distraction. Thank you.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are we doing? We're gonna read everything into the record and then I'll give you an opportunity to present the case, okay?
Okay.
You're just gonna have to, mention your name, your company, your address, all that stuff.
I think my wife's on the WebEx
Okay.
sending me.
Okay, we're on the record?
Yes, we are on the record.
Okay, this is the third and final hearing in the matter of petition number 2024-0200. Petitioner is Mr. Greg Coleman. This petition pertains to a new one-family dwelling. The subject building is 3 stories in height of detached wood frame type 5 construction, having a gross habitable floor area of approximately 2,770 square feet. The building is located at 3714 Somerset Drive. I believe that's Seaford, Town of Hempstead, Nassau County, State of New York. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR, Part 1220, the 2010 Residential Code of New York State, Section R3 13.5, which requires that buildings having a height of 3 stories above grade shall be equipped throughout with an automatic sprinkler system installed in accordance with NFPA 13D. Petitioner wishes to maintain a 3-story dwelling without a sprinkler installation. Okay. All right, gentlemen. Who's ever wants to speak first? Yeah.
So I'm just gonna go through and introduce yourself. I'm sorry, I'm Greg Coleman. I live at 3714 Somerset Drive in Seaford. I'm just gonna go through, is that good? I'm gonna go through just a quick history. Just bear with me on that when speaking or getting my point of view.
You're fine. Just,
So I bought this house in 2011. It was a small, like, bungalow type of house. 4 months after purchasing, Hurricane Irene hits, floods it 2.5 feet inside the dwelling. So I made plans to lift that dwelling. I think ironically enough, October 29, 2012, that permit was approved, and it's the same day that Hurricane Sandy hit. So further damaging the already damaged house. Make plans to, we find out the damage is so bad that we have to knock this dwelling down and create a new. Okay, so, where was I going with that?
it's had some history on the
You're
property.
saying the whole house was rebuilt?
Yes, we had to knock down the original dwelling.
Okay.
Start.
There was more than 50%. I'm Gia Coleman. I'm Greg's wife. There was more than 50% damage to the home and the foundation was buckled. We have a letter from the architect as well as the town explaining the extent of the damage to the home. And that was the reason why we had to rebuild the home to be a new dwelling because it was too far damaged to raise it or fix it.
Okay.
Okay, so permit gets approved sometime in 2013. We start construction, I believe, in early 2014. Pretty much everything's approved. The walls are closed, and I'm estimating, I don't have this, I don't proof of this, around September of 2014. On advice of Rebecca first, close the walls, we're good. Let's continue. She had all the paperwork,
And she is with the town of Hempstead?
she's my planning examiner, sorry.
Okay.
I
That's
don't
okay.
think she's the planning examiner right now because I don't know. So, what was I going with that?
So she rebuilt it, we closed the walls, basically for
Oh,
of the permits and the, inspections, I mean, I'm sorry.
so we closed the walls, trying to get this thing signed off, but every turn, she's like, no, you need this, no, you need this, basically like yelling at me, and she's saying you need this. Every time I come in, she's like, well, what is this? I'm like, I don't know, you didn't ask for that. You know, all right, so I give up. I know it's horrible, stupid, whatever, how you want to
No,
judge me,
no,
but
what
my
happened?
father, yeah.
One at a
My
time.
father passed away, and I just gave up on the whole thing. Every turn, no. You never get to CO basically. That's how my mind goes.
So there's a building inspector involved, right?
Mhm.
Inspector,
Throughout the process. Was there a building inspector?
Yes.
Okay.
Who was the building inspector?
he's retired now, Brian
Marcellus?
Musella.
Yeah, your framing inspection was signed off.
Everything was done.
Okay.
Everything except for, I guess, Department of Highways said there was a crack in the curb, so Rebecca said we can't sign this.
So at what point in time did the code officials or the town pick up the fact that you didn't have a sprinkler system that was required?
February 20th, 2024. She put a date of December 14, but there was no communication, no reaching out to us. She had other stuff with the crack in the curb where it got sent to my sister's house and it got sent to 3714, but there was no mailbox, so it turned to sender. No communication about that. So I think she made that up. I don't know how.
We're just trying to get you
Why
facts.
would she document that she put it in the injunctions?
So
You know what I mean?
did you ask for a reconsideration after she made that determination?
I did, yes.
And who did you ask?
Feel that. Oh, well, after she told me to go to Courtney, I'm assuming you're Courtney.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. We went to Lou Kavanagh, myself. Carbonell, who's the hedge plan examiner, and the Dan Leo, who's the commissioner, assistant commissioner or something like that, deputy commissioner at Town Hempstead. Remind me where I was?
So,
He had asked about a reconsideration.
can,
What was the
Greg,
difference?
elaborate on the reconsideration?
One at a time, please, one at a time.
Yeah, could my wife speak? Because she spoke to Dan Leo, I did not.
So we initially we were told during out this whole early process of building the home that we couldn't speak to anybody but Rebecca first. She was the highest that we could deal with. We didn't know that that was not true at the time. And so when we went to, after we fixed the crack in the curb and tried to reapply, we were actually able to get more information that there is somebody above her. And that's when I was able to get in touch with Dan Leo. And he thinks what had happened was that because this was after Sandy, our case kind of got caught up in the switching of all the interpretations of the codes between FEMA stepping in and New York State stepping in and changing the guidelines, changing how the codes were interpreted. There were many different definitions of what the crawl space was. You guys, I think at the beginning of this, defined it as a livable space. It's not really a livable space. It's a crawl space. There's flood vents in it. Like you can't actually live down there. So we don't consider that square footage part of the actual livable dwelling space based on how we had intended it in constructing it. And so he thinks what happened was the definitions got a little bit changed or confused, or we got they were getting different information. So they had approved our plans. And then later, a day later than that, somehow that interpretation changed. And so they felt that that they couldn't now just grant us the CO, that we needed to come to you for the variance because it was the New York State code that had come down at the final end of all of this. That was just making the determination that this was now a 3-story dwelling when really a 2-story with a crawl space initially. So that's kind of where we're at.
Let me point out that the state code has not changed. Yes, there was maybe some confusion about it. There was a memo issued by the state that clarified it because a lot of people didn't understand it or were ignoring it. But there was always that requirement that if the floor is 6 feet above grade,
The lowest
the
habitable.
lowest habitable level is 6 feet above grade, then the floor below it is a story, is considered a story. That's always been in the code.
So then I'm not sure why they approved our initial plans to build the house because that never had a sprinkler system intended for it. But they approved every step of the way through that whole process. And now our
The
walls are,
plan-
and
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Finish your thought.
so now our walls are closed and the home is built and finished essentially. And so to install sprinklers at this point throughout the entire home would cost upwards of $30,000 to $40,000 and cause a lot of damage to the home that we have to then repair. That is a really big financial burden that I don't think we could possibly do. We've tried to talk to them about some other options, and they felt like other options might be available, but that would require approval from the state, from you. One of the options we had discussed, what if you need to speak, I could pause. It's not.
No,
No,
no.
keep going. We want to make sure you get all the facts on the record and then we'll start answering questions. Go ahead.
One of the options that we discussed was putting in a central monitoring system, which is the most feasible option. That costs $1,000 to put in, and then it's the monitoring fee, and so that seemed like the most available thing without having to damage the inside of the home. And do in an appropriate timeline because we're also trying to sell this home and have an interested buyer. And so it's, we're trying to make it right. We're trying to fix whatever mistake had happened earlier, even though we don't really understand how it happened when we've been trying to do it right. So we're just trying to remedy whatever situation we're stuck in right now to make it legal and safe and right for whoever then goes on to buy this home that we worked hard to build and live in.
Did the town give you any indication how they missed this from the time that they issued the permit to the time 2022, February 1st?
I'm gonna say no. I was the.
Seen that
Right.
question.
We need one at a time because we're on the record. You can't overlap. So
Sure.
one person at a time will speak. Do you want to speak? Mr.
Okay,
Blumer?
yeah, so no, they did not. And I'll let you speak now if she wants to.
I've been asking them that question several times. The only thing or explanation I received was what Dan Leo told me about possibly there being a misinterpretation of the code after Sandy happened and a lot of confusion at the town level. I'm not really sure exactly. But that's the best explanation or the only explanation I received. I don't know if it's necessarily appropriate, but that's all we got. We were told.
Okay.
It's not the first case we've seen like this, and I really sympathize with your hardship. I understand it's got to be, really difficult to swallow. The code trigger was pretty clear, it's that 6 foot. There was a lot that was missed. We had a lot of Long Beach issues. You have your architect here, right? The
Mhm.
plans show 2-story as well. Are the plans that were submitted to the town different than what was built? Or are they are?
There's a difference between what was built and what's on that plan.
What are the differences?
That's where I was getting at. What were the differences from what was submitted and approved?
But the major difference is that the lowest level, when we show 5'11" from crawl space slab to bottom of the floor, it's now 10. And whole level, that height is considerably greater than what we had laid out on the plan.
As an architect myself, that's a very peculiar section you got there.
Yeah.
Because you're showing a 5'11". I'm assuming you knew about the 6 foot,
Yes.
but that's not a reference to grade, that's a reference to the crawl space.
12 beds.
How did, how did that change take place? Why did it take place?
The difference in the height,
Yeah,
I was not there during construction, and unfortunately neither was the owner, so I have no way of telling you how or why that was accomplished that way. As far as the specific call out for 5'11", we responded directly to an objection from the planning examiner, Rebecca First. She stated that if the crawl space was less than 6 feet, then it's not considered a story.
So this is an amendment
Yeah.
in response to the building department's.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is why it was labeled that.
So that's- So and how is this different than what was built?
Well, the height right now, the way it's built, is closer to 8 feet in that location.
So these approved plans reflect what's in the field now?
There's another amendment in the building department right now that's not processed yet, which triggered this whole objection and everything else.
So the contractor took this on his own to build it up higher?
That's the only thing I can assume it is.
Uh,
I don't know.
I mean, we're not here to point blame.
Known that I would have put the slab higher, like if I knew, I didn't know about the 5'11", it's just, I guess I wasn't looking at everything, I would have ordered higher slab.
And there's multiple oversights here and,
Wouldn't have been a higher slab, it would have been a lower.
Like you can't move it and knock a house down, you know what I mean?
just I mean, if I can get some.
Can I stop you, Rob, for a second? I'm sorry, Chairman. Can
Yes.
the architect identify himself?
Oh, I'm sorry. Dennis Oliver, 924 New Ridge Road, Belmore, New York.
We had mentioned on the record that there was an estimate of about 30 to 40K for a sprinkler system for the entire dwelling. Is that, do you have
Yes.
estimates from a contractor? Or?
Yes, there's a $500,000, that's just for the sprinkler work. That's not with, I mean, Dennis.
Well, the estimate is from WM Fire Protection Services. And then this is just to install the PEX and valves and
Okay.
heads. That's 27,500. It doesn't take into account repairing the house after the sprinkler system is put in. And based on the size of the system and the amount of pressure used, at least in my estimate, you're gonna have to open the road and tie with the existing main or run into the main. So all of that taken together, at least in my rough numbers, is somewhere around 60,000.
That's
So can I interrupt you for a second?
typically-
Is that, yeah, can you submit that as an exhibit?
Sure.
All right. Do you mind bringing that up? There are alternatives, and I think the gentleman on each side of me could probably touch on that further.
Typically, for a household system, it can come off the domestic water system and does not require an additional main. The other thing, though, is we've had a number of cases like this. And there was a provision that was changed in the code a number of years ago. I don't have the date, but that it says that when a third story is created on an existing home, or an attic is finished, then that third story then a partial sprinkler system has to be installed, sprinkling the third story and the path of egress to the exit. Typically, when these kind of things happen, that's generally what we require. And quite frankly, that's probably what we're going to require in this case.
Well, just taking into it, I understand that.
Now, that can come off the domestic system,
Okay.
yes.
But would the board possibly consider just protecting the path of travel only, not doing that whole second floor?
It's a
So there
third
is a-
floor.
Hallway and
Third.
stairwell?
Probably not.
I'm only.
So there-
Yeah.
So,
Can I just make a point that there is a egress from that top floor out of the building, from the back of the home?
Only from the den.
Only from
The back room.
the back room is a bedroom.
Yes,
Well, there, it's required for the bedrooms to have egress directly out of the bedroom.
yeah.
And she's
Right,
alluding to
so-
the deck.
Is there
Mr.
a-
Pavone would like to
Is
speak.
there an access ladder to the attic space?
Yes,
Yes.
in the middle bedroom.
So on that second floor, you already have a bathroom which has potable water, which then bringing in localized pipes into 3 rooms is not a huge expense. Key, and you said it before, was the fact of not having to bring in a new main. If it was be the whole house, it would be a new main coming in, which would be a separate metered appliance. If the board were to approve a limited system with distance of travel down to exit, it still could come off of potable water that's already in-house, which would not be the amount of money, in my opinion, that's being noted on the estimate. I think it's a lot less money, plus it could be done by a licensed plumber instead of a sprinkler installer, which would then have to go technically to the marshal's office to get approval.
Aren't there holding tank systems? Like,
Yeah,
I
but then
mean,
what you do, but you see on the limited system, you could just take it off.
Take it right off the
take it off-
domestic.
Right off
there's
of
a minimal amount of heads.
It's a minimal amount, and it's basically that head's gonna go off if there's a fire, and at least hopefully.
Give enough time to
Time.
Yeah, and,
be
and
able for egress.
And I will tell you from past experience, when I was sitting on that side, when I did do the similar presentations in front of this board, they would ask for a monitoring system anyway. So it's still.
If there's a path
If
to
there's a path
approval.
to approval.
I mean, it could just be a deny and sprinkler the whole house. So we have to weigh everything. And each board member speaks on their own opinion, not for other board members. So we're trying to get all the facts, you know.
Can I ask a question? And I know this is probably an inappropriate question. Just because you guys are experts at that type of thing.
there's no inappropriate question.
Well, that could be.
How much money are we talking partial, say we just did egress like Dennis says.
Well, if the whole house was 30,000, my guess would be probably well under 10, I think. And that's a real guess.
The only other question is, how do you protect the pipes upstairs in the attic space? Because if it's an unconditioned space, that would have to be, you'd have to figure that out.
Good point.
Yeah,
Can I ask a few questions to clarify? When you
Yeah.
say unconditioned space, does insulation mean that it's conditioned?
well, in an attic, you could have either insulation in the ceiling or insulation under the roof, and if you have it in the roof trusses or rafters, then the attic space is heated with the house. If you have it in the ceiling, then the attic space is unheating. If it's unheated, then any piping you run up there has to be protected from freezing, which can fairly easily be done by adding insulation above the piping.
Just another quick question. The air handler is a forced hot air and cooling system in the attic. The handler is in the attic. I believe it's conditioned. I believe that that's been into. If not, I feel like that's an easy.
Probably, yeah.
remedy.
Either way, yeah, that piping can be properly insulated and brought into the heated envelope. So but that raises, yeah,
Because normally when you put an air handler in an attic, you're using forced warm air or hydronics. That system will probably have a thermostat on it so that in really cold weather, it triggers the boiler to go on and run and keep the egg coil from freezing. So you're gonna get hot water in the pipes going up there, force the warm air in, but it may not be coming to you because the thermostat's not calling for it. So you're gonna have to engineer that.
see, the important thing is that the sprinkler installer or engineer take into account the need for protecting the piping from freezing. So he can work that out.
I got a couple of questions. This is from Mr. Nation. Is there any issues with the egress windows out of the bedrooms being so high above grade?
The code does not flag.
Okay, so it's like 20 feet above the ground.
The code doesn't flag that.
Okay, do we want to talk about maybe rope ladders or Jomi ladders or anything like that? Or is there a concern of that because it is so high? That's one thing we've done in the past as a
Yeah.
condition. I just, you know, it's easy to get out that way. And then the last question I have is the ground floor level. Is there any access to that? Is there like a door, a man door or a garage door? Because I didn't see it on the foundation plan.
No, it's not.
I mean, I might be reading the plans wrong, but. So what is it, a garage, like an overhead door? Is it just a regular?
It's a regular door.
Yeah.
It's a regular door and,
2.5 by whatever.
and then you store anything down there? Or is it just an open space?
It's an open,
It's open, yeah.
I have
I
a-
have a picture.
I have a photo here. So
Shows a lot of stuff.
you got like a workbench.
we had moved things down there because we were trying to pack up and move our house and we needed to move it out of the top floor so they could take pictures of our home. But
Gotcha.
none of the stuff in that space is insurable for insurance purposes. They don't consider that a habitable or storage space.
I understand. So you would be okay with storage constraints for a condition of approval for the low level? No gas, no fuel, no, you know, lawn mowers, combustible, gasoline, anything like that. So that was my line of questioning for that. I personally don't have any other questions. Have anybody else have any other questions on the board?
Where's the electrical,
I know, it's in the middle floor foyer.
okay,
Oh, I did have another question.
the,
Approximately, do you have a construction cost of the house that you spent to build a home? If this is a
Oh.
financial hardship, I'd like to get the cost of the house.
It was,
Altogether.
I do have something here. So we had gotten an SBA loan. I believe it was 200 something, but I have it. So just bear with me.
Sure.
And that does not include the credit card debt needed in addition to that afterwards.
I just need a hard cost of what it costs to build the house, so we have a comparison with the hardship for putting a full sprinkler system in.
because I see also, in a difference between the plans and what was built. There are stairs from the deck on the third floor down to the second floor,
That's important to note.
that was,
Yes, there's an egress at that top floor.
yeah, and then there's the those stairs from that top floor down to the second floor,
Down to the ground.
and down to the ground, that they were not noted on the plans either. Who's, was that a contractor, gift
To
or?
be honest, I thought we had put that in the plans. That was an oversight on my part.
So what are the amendment plans that are submitted to the town currently?
Currently, the amended plans were for a three-piece bathroom off the rear bedroom and a walk-in closet.
Do they indicate, do they show the stairs?
No,
What do you mean rear bedroom? It says a den.
well, the deck, I call it a bedroom, I'm sorry. It's,
Oh, I want to get the facts straight. So you have three bedrooms on this third floor. And then you
Yes.
have this deck at the back that has a stair that goes down to the lower deck and to grade.
Mhm.
We don't have that in our submission. So it's important to put that on the record. That's a positive for you guys.
And that should be in the pictures that were submitted.
I can't find that piece of paperwork. I must have thrown it, but I do have it.
How about a ballpark? And
$270,000.
include your credit card. How about a ballpark of cost of construction?
That could refer to Gio on that.
Yeah, so the SBA loan was for about 230,000. That does not include about, how much did you say FEMA gave Greg? Like 40 or 50,000? And then there was another 40 to 80,000 from the insurance company. And then I don't know the credit card debt because I was, that was not my focus at the time, but those were the numbers I remember from 10 years ago. About 180,000 of that was just the framing and construction of the framing. That did not include all the plumbing and electric and interior stuff like flooring, cabinets, bathrooms. It didn't, that 180 was just the framing.
So where are we at?
I would,
350,
Uh,
400?
I'm
I would
sorry.
say closer to
Go
400.
ahead, Drew.
I would say probably closer to like between 350 and 400. I couldn't tell exactly, but that's probably what we spent.
The SBA loan in total was 360.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't find that right now. I read it this morning. I don't know why I didn't bring it. I guess, maybe I didn't think it would be important, but I do have SBA paperwork.
Okay.
Back at home. I don't know if I could.
I think those numbers would suffice for discussion for the board. Yeah.
So for the record, you're not going for any local zoning variances right now. So other than the fact that noting Rebecca first as the code official, she opined on this further, she had any objection to it,
To what?
to
The granting of the variance?
granting of the variance?
Did they fill out the CEO questionnaire or was it somebody else?
They filled out the CEO questionnaire. And I also spoke with Dan Leo and Lou Carnival, who are now managing our case and governing it. She is no longer involved in this case. And they had no objections to granting a variance to this. They said they would offer to email you that as well if you needed it.
Yeah, I could have guessed that. I just wanted to see it.
So, Gia, they did not, this is Courtney from New York State. They didn't provide you with a copy of that CEO questionnaire that they filled out?
Greg, I thought they had emailed it to you and Courtney Nation and
One at a time.
Go ahead.
sorry, I thought I saw an email where they had emailed that CEO questionnaire. It was after we had submitted the application. She had done it late, but she had submitted it and I thought it said no comment, like she had no objection listed on there. But you might not have received that because that was after the date that we had to submit the application, was my understanding of the situation. I could try to pull it up in my email.
Yes, and if you could, Gia, could you email it to me, please?
I thought you were on the email, but I will try to find it.
Any other questions? Board members? Mr. Nation?
Could you establish whether that room that leads out to the
Rear deck?
to the rear deck on the third level, is that a den or a bedroom?
I think we said on the record that it was a bedroom. There's 3 bedrooms up on the 3rd floor? Is that correct? 3 bedrooms and a bed?
Well, it's 2 baths now with the amendment.
Oh, okay.
That ain't another.
I know what people. Okay. Because going through a bedroom
Correct.
to an
Yeah.
egress is a little more difficult than
Going through a den.
going through a den.
Yes.
It's, you know, space that's publicly,
Typically, bedrooms have privacy locks.
yes.
You know, we can mandate no privacy lock.
That's really important. Yeah.
You could. A lot to think about. You guys want to add anything else before we deliberate on this?
Pretty,
Okay.
Financial logic.
Sorry going through this, yeah. We understand completely. We have a job to do and maintain life safety.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk it out.
Okay, thank you.
We'll be right back with a decision. Thank you. Thank you very much. Who's supposed to
No.
extrapolate? Okay.
Okay, we're on the record.
Thank you. Okay. With respect to petition number 2024-0200, Mr. Greg Coleman. Petitioner is seeking relief from 19 NYCRR Part 1220, the 2010 Residential Code of New York State, Section R313.5. The board makes the following findings. Number 1, the dwelling that is the subject of this determination was issued a building permit back on October 2nd, 2013, and is eligible to be regulated by Section R313.5 of the 2010 Residential Code of New York State, which was the code in effect at the time. Number 2, the dwelling is a detached one-family dwelling located within a flood hazard area and has been elevated to mitigate the hazards of flooding. Number 3, the lowest habitable floor has been constructed more than 6 feet above the surrounding grade and is properly considered a second story in accordance with the code and consistent with the code's definition of a story above grade. Number 4, there is a floor level above the noted second story, which makes the building 3 stories high. A dwelling that is 3 stories high is required to have a sprinkler installation per the applicable code. Number 5, the elevation certificate submitted with this application suggests that it may have been possible to construct a dwelling that on the site that satisfied the flood elevation requirements without the need for a sprinkler installation. This could have been accomplished by constructing the lowest habitable floor at a design flood elevation of 10 NAVD 88 instead of the 14-foot NAVD 88. However, doing so would have made the space below the lowest habitable spaces a crawl space instead of a space that you can walk in or could be walked in. Number 6, the dwelling is now complete, and the petitioner argues that the installation of a sprinkler system and collateral alteration work is impractical and would cost approximately $60,000 to install, especially since the dwelling's interior finishes have been already installed. Number 7, drawings of the dwelling incorrectly label the 3rd story floor as the 2nd floor. These drawings show the 3rd story as having 2 bedrooms, a den, and a toilet room. The den leads out to an outdoor deck at the 3rd floor level. The architect in testimony stated there were amended as-built plans prepared that now indicate 3 bedrooms on the 3rd floor and 2 bathrooms. Number 8, photographs of the exterior of the dwelling in the elevation certificate show that a stairway from the 3rd floor deck leads down to a 2nd floor deck, and from there, another stairway leads to grade. This arrangement facilitates a second means of egress in addition to the main egress path via the interior set of stairs. This second path provides a safety benefit for the occupants of the 3rd floor that exceeds the code's minimum egress requirements. However, egress from 2 of the bedrooms would require travel through the 3rd bedroom to access the outdoor deck and stair system. Number 9, having a limited area sprinkler system that provides coverage for the entire 3rd floor and a path down the stairs from the 3rd floor to exit discharge would provide enhanced safety to the occupants at the 3rd floor level. Number 10, it appears that the 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor that do not have immediate access to an exterior deck do not have code-compliant emergency escape and rescue openings. 11, having electrically wired interconnected smoke detecting alarm devices installed throughout and connected to a central station monitoring would further aid in preserving life and property in the event of a fire. 12, the 1st story is enclosed with non-combustible structural walls and is required to be unoccupied except for limited storage. And 13, reducing the fire load by limiting quantities of flammable storage within the area below the lowest habitable floor will further improve the life safety of the dwelling's occupants. With respect to 19 NYCRR Part 1220, 2020 Residential Code of New York State, Section R 313.5, the board finds strict compliance with the provisions to the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code would entail practical difficulties or unnecessary hardship and would create an excessive and unreasonable economic burden. And the granting of this variance will not substantially adversely affect the Uniform Code's provisions for health, safety, and security. So wherefore, it is determined that the application for a variance from the provisions of 19 NYCRR Part 1220, is it the 2020?
Yes. 10.
This says 2020. 19 NYCR Part 1220, the 2010 Residential Code of New York State, Section R 313.5, be it is hereby proposed to be granted with the following conditions. Condition number 1, that accurately labeled as-built drawings reflecting the layout and egress paths noted in these findings shall be furnished to the local building department. Number 2, that the layout of the 3rd floor and paths of egress described in these findings shall be maintained in the dwelling. Number 3, that a limited area sprinkler system providing coverage for the entire 3rd floor, in addition to the interior path down the stairs from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor exterior exit. Number 4, that the 2 bedrooms on the 3rd floor that do not have access to the exterior deck shall have emergency escape and rescue openings in accordance with R 310.1 of the 2020 Residential Code of New York State. Each of these EERO windows shall be equipped with JOMI type egress ladders providing access from the 3rd story to grade. Number 5, that electrically wired interconnected smoke detecting alarm devices shall be installed throughout the dwelling in accordance with code and connected to central station monitoring. Number 6, that flammable liquids shall not be stored below the lowest habitable floor. And finally, number 7, that the dwelling shall conform in all other respects to the requirements of the applicable Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code of New York State including but not limited to the code's requirements for flood vents. I need a motion to approve with these conditions.
Andy, so moved.
I heard Mr. Pavone make a motion.
Okay, I'll
I get a
second.
second. Mr. Hames, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor. Motion is approved. Furthermore, it should be noted that the decision of this board is limited to the specific building and application before it as contained within the petition and should not be interpreted to give implied approval of any general plans or specifications presented in support of this application. So we had your 7 conditions there. It's the best we can do.
Could you dumb that down for me a little bit?
Sure. Anything specific you want to ask? or-
Alright.
I think the key one is the limited sprinkler system, which is a sprinkler system on the 3rd floor
Only,
only.
and then,
And the path of egress, meaning the stairs coming down and going to the door, the 2nd floor.
Okay, specifically the egress to the 3rd floor or?
The rooms.
The rooms.
It's called a
No.
limited sprinkler system.
it's not the entire.
It's not the entire.
So you will have to have sprinkler heads in each of the bedrooms.
It might be a 10 to 12 head system.
Yes.
And it connects to the
Probably less than that.
existing pipes that are in the house. You do not
Go
have
down the
to
stair and
install pipes
Oh,
all
for the
over,
whole.
you know, to connect, you connect into the
Probably,
potable water
probably
line.
half a
The
dozen.
bathroom water that's there, you're gonna go into that, plumber's gonna go in, he's gonna connect into one of those pipes. You're gonna bring it up into the ceiling, you're gonna have to have somebody engineer it and bring it into those room and also protect it from any type of inclement weather. So it's a lot different than a sprinkler system that you would be bringing in a whole new main. So if the town doesn't understand that or know what that is, they should call Mr. Nation, and then they could give the town a more defined path. But it's a limited system, and they should know this because it's been done many times.
Just saying the back bedroom doesn't use sprinkler?
Yes,
All
all
three,
all 3 bedrooms.
including the bathroom,
2 bathrooms,
2 bathrooms.
3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and the stair going down.
The bathroom?
And what we got, yeah, and the way I understand it, that the exit door out is from the 2nd floor. There's a big stair going down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would be out, just that one run of stair out to the exterior door, and then you're outside.
Oh, you mean in the front?
So it'd probably be 1 or 2 heads down the stair. Shouldn't take a lot to cover. It's the best we can do for a limited system without requiring you to do the whole dwelling. The other thing was, there's a retractable type of egress ladder that gets mounted on the outside of the house. Due to the long fall down, we're requiring is a ladder or something similar to a Jomi ladder that you pull a pin,
Yeah, so
it
it looks like
opens up, and you can walk down the side of the house.
it's JOMY. When you look online, it looks like a leader from a gutter, actually. What happens is it keeps the aesthetics of the house, but there's a pin on the top where the window is, or the emergency window. God forbid that there was a fire, somebody had to egress out of that, couldn't get down the stairs. They open the window, pull the pin, and the ladder is perpendicular to the wall of the house. They're able to climb all the way down.
Just want to make it clear, we're saying Jomi type, we're not mandating use of specific manufacturer. So it's something like that that meets the intent of the code, that is what we're citing here.
I need sprinklers and that's in addition to sprinklers.
The 2 bedroom.
Yes. And those 2 bedrooms also, we cannot tell from the plans or the photos, it looks like those windows are not large enough to be considered emergency escape and rescue openings. So the windows may have to be replaced.
Have your architect check it, who's qualified to determine that. And that's essentially it. Everything else is,
And so for these ladders, you need them in each window?
Just two,
Just for the 2 bedrooms.
each
Yeah.
room,
One in
there's
each
2
bedroom.
rooms.
One in each bed.
Not the one that's leading out to your deck that's directly has an outside deck area. What's the other 2?
I think we can go off the record now. I think we're good. This is good
Okay, you're off
conversation.
the record.
All right.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much.